Hi guys, in this video we're going to be making a reversible, lined, boxy bottomed, sturdy tote bag. You'll need 1/2 metre of 2 fabrics. I'm using 2 from the William Morris Yuletide Bloom range. The Hammersmith and the Willow Bough, both of which are absolutely gorgeous. So from the main fabric you'll need 2 pieces measuring 14 by 14 inches. And 2 pieces measuring 4 by 22 inches. From the lining fabric you'll need 2 pieces that also measure 14 by 14 inches. So let's set that aside and start by preparing the handles. Fold across its longest edge so that the wrong sides are together and press. Now open that up and fold each edge in towards the pressed line and press those 2. Now fold that over so that both the raw edges are tucked inside and add a few clips. I'm changing my stitch length to 4mm. I prefer that length for top stitching. Top stitch down both sides of the handle. For this one I'm using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'll explain why shortly, but don't do this. You'll want to stitch close to the edge on both sides. And then repeat the process to create a second handle. I'll speed up the video until we get to the top stitching, then I'll slow it back down to explain. So you can see the difference here. Top stitching 1/4 inch from either side just doesn't look right at all. The handle will still be sturdy, it just doesn't have a great finish. Whereas if you look at the one I stitched closer to the edge, well, you can see for yourself it just looks much better. Anyway, I digress. Set the handles aside for later. Now take the 2 main pieces of fabric and place them right sides together. Also, if your fabric is directional, make sure that the top that you leave open is actually the top of the fabric. and pop in a few pins. Using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, sew down the right, across the bottom and up the left. Leave the top open and ensure that you backstitch at the beginning and end so that you don't pull stitches when turning the project out later on. Repeat this with the lining fabric. To give the tote a boxy bottom, we need to sew across the seams. So using the current seams, pull the fabric on either side to form a triangle and lay it flat. Now mark a 1.5 inch line away from the inside point. Honestly, wherever you measure from, just repeat that on the other corner so that the bag sits straight. Don't panic too much about being uber accurate. Sew across the marked line. Then trim the excess down to 1/4 inch. Repeat on the other side and then repeat again on your main fabric. Turn the lining fabric right way out. Slide that lining inside the main fabric. At this point the main fabric will still be inside out. This should mean that the lining fabric and the main fabric are right sides together. Align the side seams and clip or pin them together. Fold the fabric in half to find the centre. Then measure out 2.5 inches in either direction. Once you have the handle lined up correctly, you need to slip it between the outer fabric and the lining fabric without twisting it. So each end should sit on the outside of the 2.5 inch mark that you made. Now clip or pin the outer fabric, handle and lining fabrics together and repeat on the other side to add the second handle. This is actually a bit easier because you can use the first handle as a guide. Sew around the top of the bag, backstitching over the handle areas a few times to reinforce the area. Leave a 4-inch section open in the centre for turning out the bag. I'll do my normal thing here and pop in a few pins where I want to start and stop. This is just to remind me not to sew between those two sets of pins. Don't need the spider for this one. So sew, backstitch at the beginning and end. And backstitch over the handle areas. Trim off the ends of the handles. Then turn the bag right way out. Press the top seam. Then push the lining inside the bag and press that top seam again. When you get to the open area, tug either side of the opening to force the fabric inside, then give that a quick run over with the iron too. Pop on a few clips. Now top stitch around the bag. Again, I changed the stitch length to about 4mm. This finishes the edge nicely and closes up that turning gap. Make sure the handles are laid flat as you sew those areas. And that's it, a fully lined sturdy tote bag. And the boxy bottom looks great too. Thanks for watching, and if you don't already, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video. Until next time, happy sewing.